and gentlemen, a warm welcome for Laurie Hernandez, United States Gymnastics gold and silver medalist. Outstanding. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
How are you?
Much better. How are you?
I'm great.
That's what we want to know.
You guys are awesome, by the way.
What a whirlwind year. Anybody see Dancing with the Stars? And Rio wrote a book. Got it all going on. Tell me about the last year, just kind of a whirlwind that has been for you.
It has definitely been a whirlwind. I mean, I have had the opportunity to go to the Olympics, meet so many amazing athletes, and then I was able to go and dance in the ballroom with my dance partner. I've been on 2 tours, and now I'm here, so this is awesome. It's definitely been quick.
We'd like to continue your whirlwind tour and include Columbus in it because these folks are so excited to hear from you. And we're going to ask you guys to be able to ask Laurie some questions here. So be thinking, ladies and gentlemen, be thinking about some good questions out there that you want to hear from Laurie. But you stopped long enough to visit with us, and we appreciate that because now you're in kind of a rest mode right now.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, since the Olympics, it's all been going so fast. I am taking a small break from gymnastics, but I do plan on coming back.
When you come back, I'm not good at math, but let's add 2020, okay, for the Olympics. Can we expect Laurie Hernandez to be right there as a 20-year-old in 2020?
I think so, yeah.
We're pulling for you, right? We're absolutely pulling for you. I think it'd be fantastic. What about that team this year, the makeup of that team? We all watched, right? Watched the Olympics, watched the golds roll in. It was a dream team.
Absolutely.
Were you guys all together like that, like it looked like?
We were. Nothing that we did on TV was for show. Everything that we did was to support each other, and we had really good sportsmanship, and we knew that the Olympics was a high-stress environment, and so we tried to tone that down for each and every one of us. And I think my favorite part about this team was how diverse it was. I mean, we all got together so well. So.
When you go through something like that, because nobody here, raise your hand if you have a gold medal. Nobody here knows what that's like, but a 16-year-old, how do you take in the moment and enjoy that when there's so much pressure?
Well, actually, for team finals, we ended on floor. It was our last event. And I remember freaking out. I was like, guys, it's our last event. I'm really scared. I don't want to mess up. I don't want to ruin anything that we have going. And the girls just looked at me and they were like, you don't know when you're going to be able to do this again. And so just go out there, embrace the crowd, embrace the nerves, embrace the dance floor, and tumble your heart out and have fun and just embrace that moment. And that's exactly what I did.
Boy, it's so hard to do when you get one shot at that one moment.
Exactly. You literally get one shot.
Tell me, okay, you can have, for the rest of your life, you can have either your gold and silver medal or your Dancing with the Stars mirror ball.
Both.
Okay. Well
Right?
done. So what are your thoughts about both of them when you compare them?
So for the Olympics, as you know, for gymnastics, you train the same thing over and over again. And at big competitions and at competitions in general, this stress comes from, okay, can I do that one more? I've done so many of this. All I have to do is one more just like it. And for Dancing with the Stars, the pressure comes from having to do the opposite of gymnastics. It's switching your theme, your style of dance, your shoes, your outfits, your music. Everything changes every single week. And towards, the end of the season, it's like you're doing 2 and 3 different styles of dances in a row, and that gets really difficult. I mean, it's very easy to forget everything. So, yeah, they're both interesting.
I would say, for certain. I would almost think it's an unfair advantage to be a gymnast, and you have a floor routine, floor exercise, you dance to that. They never had a chance against you.
Yes, they did. So, I think the only advantage as a gymnast that I had for the show would be the endurance, just because I'm training so rigorously. It's like I have that endurance, I have that stamina to be able to focus on my dancing. But I'm sure all of you know that in gymnastics, artistry is very important, but you're showcasing flips and your jumps and your leaps. You're not necessarily showcasing your dance, which, and artistry is very important, but when you're in the ballroom, dance is your show. And so as a gymnast, you're doing poses and you're hitting certain beats, but you're more focused on the tumbling. Whereas on the ballroom, your dance is your show, and I had no experience in that.
Okay, so you're endurance, and you brought up fitness. So since we're at the Commit to Be Fit Expo, and there's workouts all around here, we just had Taibo with Billy Blanks. How fun was that meeting him earlier?
That was so cool.
See, coming from somebody who doesn't even know what a VHS tape is.
Yes, I do.
Okay, do you? Are you sure? All right. You just don't have a machine that plays one.
When I was little, I used to watch Cinderella all the time on the little box that you put in the other little box. And you press play and it rolls, and then I would also I would break the box and pull out the cord on the inside.
Yeah, all the tape in it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's...
Sorry, Mom.
Those little boxes are VCRs, and the other little boxes are VHS tapes. But it had to be exciting. You meet him and all that he's been able to do. And we're at the Fitness Expo here. A lot of folks out here, a lot of young gymnasts and aspiring gymnasts out there. What was your fitness like growing up? Like, when did you start? When was it just fun and just messing around? When did it become, all right, this is what I'm going to do now?
Well, I had started gymnastics at about the age of 5. That was in 2005, and I really did it because it looked like a lot of fun, and I had seen a gymnast on TV, and she looked amazing. It was Shawn Johnson. I was like, Mom, I want to be just like her. And so I started off, and it was a lot of fun, but over the years and gradually the sport became a lot harder, but at the same time my goals became a little more clear, and so I really dedicated everything in the sport to achieve it.
What do you do to cross-train when, all the hours of gymnastics you'd think would be enough, right? But what do you do to kind of cross-train your body to be able to do some different things?
I mean, there definitely are weeks where you're like, okay, gymnastics is definitely enough for this week, I'm a little tired. But then there are those days where you're off season and you want to make sure that you're staying in shape, so that way when meet season comes, you are ready to go, you have that endurance, you have the strength. And a lot of times, me and my mom and my parents, we would go bike riding around the neighborhood, and that was very good endurance for us. Or there's this gymnasium that's by my house, and they have monkey bars and a rope climbing thing. And it's really good to be able to cross-train my body like that, because I get stronger in different areas, and that helps me perform better.
Was this in Old Bridge, New Jersey? Home?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I learned that we have that in common. I went to high school in New Jersey, so we have that tie. Jersey folks.
Jersey.
Yeah. We're not going to get any cheers out of this crowd.
Columbus.
Columbus, there we go, yeah. So tell me about family. We have Mom Wanda, or Mama Wanda.
Mama Wanda.
Mama Wanda, okay. As I learned earlier, you have, Father Anthony, and you have a brother and a sister.
Yes.
As well. Marcus.
And Jay.
And Jay. Okay. What is life at home like with them when you are home?
Life at home is one of my favorite things because it's normal. There's, it's kind of like you forget everything that happened in the day or in the past week, and you can just sit there in your pajamas and you can help your mom cook, you can watch movies with your family, and it's like that home feeling is so comfortable. It's like a big hug. And so by being home and being with my family, it helps me stay grounded. And so I feel like that's why my head is, it's easier to be in the right place and in the right mentality when I'm home.
Your brother and sister weren't grounded when you were in Rio, but they were home watching, okay? Your mom and dad were there in Rio. Tell me about the excitement from your parents and you delivering that kind of performance and the first meeting with them after.
I should probably apologize now for giving my parents a heart attack at Rio. That was probably really stressful. They were in the crowd and watching me compete, and from my experience, watching is a lot scarier than doing. And so for them to actually experience that, I mean, it was so exciting to be on the podium and be able to receive a gold medal and hear the national anthem play. And as soon as we walked off the podium, I found my parents in the crowd, and I kind of just held it up, and I was like, yeah, look, like we did it. And it was so cool, that moment. But because my siblings weren't there, I had to show them that I was able to get a gold medal with my team. And so my way of telling my brother was, I sent him a text and say, hey, look what I got today. And it was just a selfie. And
That's all.
Yeah.
Selfie with a gold medal, you know, what any 16-year-old would do.
He was
Send a
mad
selfie.
because I spoiled it, but.
You ruined the broadcast for him because he wanted to watch it.
Yeah, he was actually in the middle of watching it and it hadn't like ended yet because it was live. So.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. Ooh, sorry, not sorry. One of those deals. That is fantastic. How about your sister? How do you get along with her?
My sister is amazing. She's 27, so she's actually 11 years older than me, but we get along as if we were twins. It's like we have mental telepathy. We say things at the same time. It's really funny. But I actually found a video of when her and my brother were watching me compete at the Olympics. She was just bawling her eyes out, and they were both hugging each other. And it's nice to see how supportive my family is of me and of what I do and what I'm able to accomplish, because without them, I wouldn't be where I am today, remotely close.
I can vouch for all the parents here. What you said before about it's more nerve-wracking for parents watching their kid on the beam, especially. You know, one of those things that just, I'm a two-time gymnastic parent, and it is brutal. Everybody agree with me, right? I mean, it is hard.
I think that could go for any sport as well, but at the same time, I have a picture. It's in a picture frame, actually, in my room, of my parents in Rio. My dad is sitting there like this, and my mom is hugging his head. And you can just see they're both like praying over this, like, okay, she can do it. And you can see like the anxiousness in just that photo. And I love that photo because there's everyone around them, but it's all blurred and it's just them, and that's hanging. And you can just, I was like, wow, that really sucks for you guys.
Yeah, it does, to be perfectly blunt. It is some hardcore tension that you go through because they just want it for you so bad, but they can't do it.
And they can't control what you do as bad as they want to. So that's why it's definitely nerve-wracking.
Right. I wanted to touch on nutrition just a little bit because I'm personally curious about what, you know, when did you start to get interested in that, and how do you treat your body nutrition-wise?
Well, as gymnastics started to get a little more serious, and also it was like that puberty stage of like you're growing and you don't know why, and suddenly you wake up one morning and you're 2 inches taller and you're like, what happened? But I think it would be, at that time, that would probably be about, 11 or so. And that was the time where I realized, okay, gymnastics is getting a little more serious. I need to start maybe, watching what I'm eating. And instead of having white bread, I would switch to wheat bread. And instead of having, French toast for breakfast, I would have scrambled eggs or I would have oatmeal. And suddenly, as I was doing that, I noticed a very big difference in my performances and in my training. And I decided to cut down a lot of the sweets that I was taking. It didn't mean that I completely eliminated them because, you know what, yes, every so often it's okay to have one or two, whether it's chocolate or whatever it is, but having it every day, it doesn't fuel you, and it makes your body have like a sugar crash where you'll have a lot of energy and then all of a sudden you get very tired. And so eating things like oatmeal and scrambled eggs and quinoa and things that expand and fill your body the proper way, it will really improve your performance and really improve your mindset on things. It's, good food for you creates a positive and healthy lifestyle, and that's really what you need to be an athlete.
And sustains that energy that you need for the hours and hours that you train, because the other junk is, it's good for now, but in 10 minutes or a half hour, it's gone and you're worse off than you were before, more hungry.
Exactly, and I think that, as soon as you make the switch, you'll look back and realize like, oh man, I can't believe, I ate that and I still was managing to pull through. But I noticed that switching from, having, white bread and jam for breakfast onto oatmeal, it was like I was totally stabilized and my workouts were improving, which made my competitions better and cleaner, and it helped me progress as a gymnast itself. So.
As an 11-year-old, you made that decision.
Well, no, that was progressive. I mean, 11 was like, oh man, I probably should stop having pancakes for breakfast. But, and then,
Had them yesterday.
But then, it was as the years grew on and I knew that, my goal was getting closer and closer. I would do anything I would risk anything for the sport, and I dedicated everything to the sport, and it was definitely worth it.
What's the weak spot food-wise? Because we're 10, 11, 12, 15 out here, as we're growing up. What's your weak spot? Your cheat day? What are you gonna have? What's it gonna be? One thing.
Cookies.
Cookies!
I love cookies.
Any kind of cookie? Any kind.
All of them.
All of them. Hide all the cookies.
If
in the
they're
Expo
homemade,
Center.
all of them.
That's great. Chocolate chip. I'd have a weak spot for that.
Oh, like the double
Big
chocolate
chunk.
chip?
Oh yeah.
Big
Double
chunks?
chocolate chip. Big chunk.
Like the soft snickerdoodle
Oh
ones?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm done. Awesome. So, you know, I mean, everybody's got it. So you just have to manage that kind of stuff. And, you know, moderation is the way to go. You know what we haven't talked about is your book. Tell me, what's in the book?
Everything.
Everything Olympics, everything you, everything family, everything Dancing with the Stars, everything.
Yeah, wow, you summed it up. I was going to explain, but
I
yeah,
read the
you-
whole thing this morning.
Thank you.
I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay. But yeah, I mean, you nailed it. It's more just my whole experience as growing up and realizing that I had such a big goal at such a young age, and how my family was willing to support me in everything that I did, whether it was going through bad injuries or just having a rough day. They were like, you know what, we believe in you, we support you, whatever you want to do, we got you. And because of that, I was able to push through where I wanted to go, which was the Olympics.
And you just said something interesting to me because of the name of the book, I Got This. And you just said, because your family said, we got you.
Oh,
And you just said, you know, you named it, I Got This.
yeah.
How'd you all come up with the title?
Well, so for team finals, I had the opportunity to compete on beam. I mean, it's a very big role for them to say, okay, look, for our team, you're going to compete this event, you're going to compete this event. I had the opportunity of competing 3 out of 4 events. I didn't do bars, but it was just, that is a very big honor and a very big responsibility. And so we came to beam. I was freaking out, as usual, and I was kind of like pacing back and forth. I was like, guys, I need you to cheer for me. I'm really scared. And then, you know, I reminded myself to take deep breaths, and like I have this thing where I put my hand on my stomach and I watch my stomach breathe in and out, and that took my mind off the routine, and I was able to just think a lot clearer. And so it was kind of like a nervous tick to say, like, okay, you practiced so many times for this, you worked so hard for this, you've done this before, okay, I believe in you, you got this. And I was just like saying that to myself. And so the judges saluted me. I saluted back, and I was about to hop on the beam, and I just took one deep breath, and I whispered, I got this. And then I just went up there and I hit a nice routine, but they really caught that on camera and it went viral, and I was like, hey, book title, how you doing?
Boom! Just like that. Drop the mic, walk out. That's awesome. That is so. Who got chills? Because I did. I got chills when I heard that story. That is
Thank you.
fantastic. That is awesome, just the way that all goes down. I want to give folks out there a chance. I know you've been thinking of some stuff, and you've got some great questions right now for Laurie. Who wants to raise their hand and give me a question? Kenny, you got a question? How did I know that? Go ahead.
Great, thank you.
Next up, there was one thing you didn't talk about. You're 16 years old. You got an Olympic gold medal. You got Dancing with the Stars trophy. But we haven't talked about school.
I'll talk about school.
Two things. How many A's and B's? How are you doing in school? How many A's and B's are you getting? And what are you going to be when you retire from gymnastics?
What am I going to be? Is it like a job? I'm kidding. But okay, so spoiler alert, I've been homeschooled since the 3rd grade. I had decided that I was going to dedicate everything to the sport, and in order to do that, I had to practice a lot of hours. And so homeschooling was the right decision, and I actually still homeschool to this day. I'm a junior in high school, and actually about 2 days ago, I took like 2 tests. Not fun. But yes, I am making sure that I'm still getting education in there and inside of my schedule, and I do plan on going to college in the future. I don't know where, and I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to major in, but that's for another time. I'm still taking it day by day, but I do plan on furthering that education. And I am doing okay in school.
And you plan on college after 2020?
Yes.
When you take care of business?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay. Just curious about that. That's a great time to start. All right, anybody else with a question? Oh, right front row.
Hi. So I was just wondering, what advice would you give someone who wants to
further their career in gymnastics or like any athletic thing?
I think my advice would be to make sure that you're setting goals for yourself, and if it's a goal that you don't see yourself doing, it's very hard for that to happen. And so make sure that your goal is reachable, and you have goals that even if they're so small, like, okay, you know what? Today I'm gonna work on getting my back layout. And you work very hard for that, you know? Like, you can dedicate everything to that. You listen to what your coach says, and you just let it soak into your mind, and you know, you go out and do it. And if you have to have that hope that you're gonna do it, and that faith that you can do it. And so by achieving goals one by one, I mean, I had goals of like, okay, I'm gonna go to US Classics and I'm gonna compete there. And I was so excited, and so I did everything in my power. I stayed motivated, and on the days where it got really hard, I reminded myself of this little girl who wanted to start gymnastics and be where I am, and to look how far I've come. And so by doing that, it was like, wow, I'm so motivated now. I'm gonna, like, you know, go do whatever it is. But I think it's just making sure that you have goals, whether they're big or small. Having goals is the first step to getting where you want to be.
Just raise your hand. Okay, right here in the blue jacket. Thank you.
I was wondering if you have any advice that you would give to younger girls or boys, 10, 11 years old, something that maybe you learned or you wish you could have done differently if you could go back in time.
I think my advice to all of you would be that the biggest goals and the best goals are not handed down to you. I mean, I gotta sit for this one. I think it's understanding that a goal that you would like to, inspire, change the world, do something great for yourself, do something great for others, that is not something that you just walk in and get handed to you. That is something that you go in every day and you work hard. And the harder you work, the more your goal and your dreams become realistic. And just, be motivated, and you're gonna have rough times. That's totally normal. I mean, there are going to be days where you're like, I can't do this. And then the best part is you're gonna have people around you telling you, you know what, you can. And you have to be the person to decide, you know what, I can. And just by changing your mindset and by doing that, it's like keeping that motivation to move forward.
Hi, I watch you every week on Dancing with the Stars, and I just wanted to know, what was it like training every week, and, what was your hardest performance?
That's a good question. It was definitely different than gymnastics. I mean, there were not too many flips involved. And I think, the hardest part about it would be the heels, because as a gymnast, we're barefoot all the time. And so having to go from not wearing heels ever to wearing heels every single day, I mean, the amount of blisters that we got, not fun. But I think being able to have that experience and to learn, the control of your body and how to be smooth, how to be sharp, it was such an amazing experience. And I'd love to keep that dance streak going, even though, I'm done for this season. I'd love to still keep dancing and keep, doing gymnastics and things like that. And so the hardest dance would probably be Argentine tango or paso doble, because I'm very bubbly and very happy, and those are very spicy dances, and so yeah, it was hard to channel that, but yeah.
Rein it in. We have some interest in the back here. Go ahead.
What was your favorite dance that you did on Dancing with the Stars?
My favorite dance would definitely be the fusion dance. I don't know if you guys know the fusion dance, but basically they take two different styles of dance and piece them together into one routine. And so that was my last dance of the season. I did Argentine tango and foxtrot and won, and it was just so beautiful and so bittersweet. It was my favorite.
Lady right in the middle.
What's your best score in your favorite event?
Ooh, best score as in level 10 scoring or as in elite scoring?
Any score.
Any score? I think once I got a 995. That was my almost perfect 10. I had 1/10 that I had to kind of squeeze in there. But that was my best score. And my favorite event would be floor, because I do like dancing. And if not for floor, then beam, because it looks very tricky, but the more you do it, the easier it becomes.
Was your 995 on the floor?
I think so, yeah. Mom. Yeah.
Yes, it's confirmed. Another question back here. Microphone's
You guys
coming to
have
you.
great questions. I
These
love
are
this.
good questions.
Do you ever get scared, like, when you're doing, like, the really hard flips?
Absolutely. There were so many skills where I remember looking at my teammates and going, this is nuts. What? You want me to do what? And I remember just being so confused. I'm like, how can a human possibly do that? Like, we're not made to do that. But it was going up there and understanding that, A, that's normal to feel afraid of the skill and normal to feel like you can't do it. And then the next step would be to completely reverse your mindset and say, okay, you know what? Someone and so many other people out there have done this before, which means that I can do it too if I work hard enough. And so I think it would be just, reminding yourself, okay, I have to take a deep breath. I have to have faith that I can do it, and then go for it.
Can't be tentative when you're doing that kind of stuff. 100%.
No, sometimes it's better to even stop thinking and just do it.
Right.
The more you think, the harder it gets.
You gotta try to pull it off. All right, right next to her.
Do you have trouble like making friends outside of the team?
That's a very good question. So I think the reason why it's hard for me to, either keep friendships or I definitely make a lot of friends in the process of what I do, but at the same time I am traveling so much nowadays that a lot of the friends that I had from back home I'm not as close to anymore, but the ones that I am close to, they're very dear to my heart, and I can tell that they'll always be there for me. And so being able to, FaceTime your friends here and there, or, I have this one friend who will completely stay up as late as she has to just to talk to me at night and just to, hear how my day was going. And it's like, we really need people like that. So I'd rather have one friend who's willing to stay up to talk to me and stay up to hear about all the dumb stories that I have, or how I tripped down the stairs the other day, or how, I put bananas on my toast, and rather than, 4 friends who don't want to hear what I have to say.
Is it time and training? Is that, the biggest drawback to being able to have a
Yes,
big group?
definitely. And even now I'm traveling a lot, and so I'm, yesterday I had like 3 plane rides, and I definitely fly a lot. I definitely visit a lot of different places, which is an absolutely amazing experience, and I'm grateful for that. But again, I'm with, people that work with me, thank gosh, but I'm with people that work with me and not my friends, and so it's hard to keep in touch with that.
Trip down the stairs. You saying you clumsy? Are you clumsy?
I'm so clumsy.
How does that happen? How is that possible?
The thing is, I don't know.
World-class athlete. Clumsy.
We are all very clumsy. I trip
That's
a
funny.
lot.
That is
I tried
funny.
to tie my shoes the other day and just.
Where is this guy?
I have
Okay,
it.
right here.
I actually have 2 questions for you.
Okay.
One, if you could have a meal with anybody, past or present, who would it be and why? And my second one is, since you've accomplished so much, what is a legacy that you would like to pass on to future generations?
Wow.
And would that meal be bananas on toast?
Maybe. But wow, that is a very good question. I definitely have to think about that. I think one of them would be a past athlete, someone. Oh my goodness, that is a very good question. Maybe like Louis Zamperini. I don't know if you've heard of him. He was like, a track runner, amazing, and I think it would be past athletes. I have too many to pick from right now, but past athletes, because I want to hear their stories. And, our technology is improving by the minute, and so we have the opportunity to run on treadmills and to do pull-ups on a bar that's just stationary right there. But I want to hear how they were able to break records and not have what we have today. So there's that. And then, I'm so sorry.
That's a good one to think on, though, isn't it? That's
Definitely a good one to think on. I'll come back to you.
See what kind of list. But
I think you're so good.
I told you, Columbus would come strong with questions.
Yeah,
These
this
are
is great. I think the legacy that I'd like to pass on would probably be that I understand that I have a responsibility to inspire others and to motivate others in my generation, and to show that, we can work hard and we can be motivated and we can do great things in this world. And I'm just hoping to inspire others and leave that legacy of, she was so inspiring, look at what she did. And I keep striving to do that every day.
Where'd we go, Scott? There we go. Yeah, good questions, good answers.
What was their trickiest event in the Olympics?
The trickiest event would probably be the balance beam because, you know, if just as a general like human emotion, if we get nervous, we tend to be very shaky. Am I right? Like you can kind of be like, oh man, I'm very scared. You can't do that on the beam. There's only 4 inches to work with. The beam isn't very kind to you. But it was definitely beam because, you know, the crowd was very loud, and of course, like it was Brazil's hometown. They were cheering and stuff, and then it was like as soon as I went, it went dead silent, and I could tell everybody was watching, and so that was scary because it was like, okay, it's just me and the beam, and all I could hear was me hitting the beam, and that was it, and it was just nerve-wracking. It was like I could hear my heart beating, but I was so relieved when it was over.
There you go.
Oh gosh. Okay. I'm terrified. Okay.
It's okay.
Oh my God, I can hear myself.
It's okay. Take your time.
What was it like dancing with Val? Because we both think he's cute, just so you know.
So dancing with Val was awesome. I will have you all know that he is double my age and he is like a brother to me. But just to clear anything up, but he treated me like I was a younger sister who needed to be mentored, and you know, the information that he gave me on dancing, it resonated with dancing, but it also resonated with life. And he would look at me and say like, okay, take a step forward. This was our first rehearsal. You know, take a step forward. And I would take a step, and he's like, no, take a step like you mean it. And I was like, and he was like, no, take a passionate step forward. And I was like, and I walked like a dancer would, I guess. I'm not exactly sure what I did. And he said, it's not about the step, it's about the intentions of your step and the intention you plan on leaving with that step. Same thing with life. It's not about the steps you take, it's about leaving a mark, basically. And it was like, that was our first rehearsal. All I wanted to do was learn to walk the right way. But instead he decided to give me life lessons, and he decided to give dance meaning, and he was very passionate about that, and I'm grateful.
Some heavy stuff right there for the
Yeah, I
first
was
dance.
like, I am 16.
Right on. That's what I'm saying.
Wow.
16 and thinking you're just gonna go dance.
I was like, I thought I was just gonna think, you know, wow, ooh, look at my hand. Instead, it was life lessons, which I prefer way more.
Did they carry on through?
Absolutely. I mean, it was constantly reminding myself that I think the biggest lesson that I got from my dance partner would be that to be grateful for everything, because we don't have everything forever.
Good point. Where's that mic? Go ahead, young lady.
Since you won the gold medal, has it been like hard to go out in public?
Yeah. So I think, yes, to answer your question, I think going out in public, it can be very easy to spot me, but it can be very hard to spot me because I'm really short. But I think a lot of times it'll be like when I'm going out to eat and I'm just kind of relaxing, and then it's all of a sudden like, you know, the best ones are when the little girls come up and they're like, hey, you know, we saw you at the Olympics, and we started gymnastics because of you. And it was like, that really inspires me, because when I was younger, that is how I started gymnastics. And it's like, I do my best to be as kind as I can to those who approach me, because it's like, being a kid and watching someone do gymnastics and then starting because of them, and then seeing other little girls tell me that they started because they watched me, I'll never know when I'm talking to a future Olympian and someone that I could possibly inspire to keep moving forward with whatever sport they're doing.
That's a truly grounded way to look at that, because the flip side would be that they didn't watch you, don't watch you, and don't really care to follow what you do. But they do care, and that's, you know, that's probably why they pester you a little bit.
Yeah, I think so, but I try to remember that it's not like they're coming up to annoy me or to bug me. They're coming up because I guess in some way I've resonated with them, and I've had an impact on them. And so it's inspiring when people come up to me, and it's an honor for that.
What's the greatest length you have gone to be incognito, not recognized? Where you go out? Tell me what you've done.
What if I tell you everybody's gonna know what I wear?
No, is it a hat? Is it a specific? It's sombrero.
Well,
I mean, what?
nobody record
That would bring
this.
up.
But is it over here like
Yeah, no recording. Devices down.
So I usually.
We're not streaming this live.
I usually. A lot of times I'll go like with my hair down because my curls are so puffy that you can't even see my face.
Okay, that's what I was going with the, maybe was it a big hat, like a beach hat to hide your.
Yeah, and like
hide
maybe
your
like
face?
a fur coat. That's no, I'm kidding. I'm
No.
kidding.
So okay, all right. So hair down, so we wouldn't know because people
And
only
like
see you on
stilts
TV.
because they're expecting me to be, here.
Right, right. Something that makes you a little taller. All right, we have another one.
Okay. Do you think Simone or Val is gonna win Dancing with the Stars this season?
Girl, you really gonna ask me that? So, I am rooting for everyone on that show. I had the opportunity to, no seriously, I had the opportunity to go on tour with all of the professional dancers. And I got to see that they are not just dancers on a TV show, that they are people and that they have hearts and they're so passionate about what they do. So may the best dancer win.
Wow, political correctness at 16.
I love my girl Simone though, so.
Go ahead, young lady.
What is the lowest score that you've ever gotten?
Oh, the lowest now.
This is my favorite question because I get to show that I don't just get 9s all the time. I once got a 5, a very low 5. I think I fell maybe 3 or 4 times. And in the elite world, they score by, like in the teens, and so a very good score would be like a 15.5, a 15.9, and I once got a 9. so yeah, but you build on those times, and having moments like that, of course you're very disappointed, but it's like fast forwarding, you look back and you're like, you got a 9.
How many times you get back up, not how many times you fall off, right?
Exactly.
Front row here, I think we have. Yeah. There you go.
So, I have my daughter here who obviously is Hispanic, and I am wondering what advice, with everything that is going on right now, what advice do you have for minorities as to how to continue and reach for their dreams?
Wow, that's a very good question. So I think my advice would just be to be yourself and not to let anybody change who you are, because as a person, your goal should be to inspire and to motivate others and to help other people. I mean, I feel like as humans, we were built to move forward and not to look behind us. And so we have to make the best of what we have. And, whether you're white, black, Hispanic, you should be able to set your mind up for a goal and to go for it and not to let anybody stop you.
Last couple before we wrap up here. Go ahead.
What's your favorite skill on the floor?
My favorite skill, I have 2 actually. My first one would be double layout, just because if you hit the right way, all you have to do is lift your hips up and then you flip, like gravity flips you. You don't have to do anything. And so you're kind of just sitting there like, wow, I'm in the air right now. And then the other one, that's my favorite. So I do, as a third pass for the Olympics, it was a front layout connected to a double, it was like one flip with 2 twists connect to a front flip. So I did like a 3 pass in a row, and that had the same start value as a double layout. And so because it looked very impressive, it was my favorite.
What would your favorite, if you could choose one of the events, either beam or bars, what would you choose?
If I could choose either beam or bars, I think personally I would choose beam, because bars, I've always worked very hard at it to do my best, but it's always been a little bit of a struggle, and I noticed that beam came a little bit more naturally to me, and that the more repetitions that I did, the more my body just understood how to do the flips, and I was able to enjoy what I was doing, and I feel like okay, beam, nice to meet you again. But yeah.
Did you ever think you were like gonna accomplish that in gymnastics? Did you ever think you were gonna do that good?
I mean, as a kid, it was always a goal of mine. And it's like, when you're 5 years old and you tell your parents, hey, I want to go to the Olympics, they kind of look at you like, okay. They're there, like, I guess. But, you know, of course that would be every parent's reaction. But then my parents decided that they were like, you know what, she wants it. Let's help her out a little bit. When she's younger, let's let her believe, like, okay, you know what, she's training for the Olympics. And then as the years went on, they saw how much I loved the sport, and I also saw how much I loved the sport and how much I loved competing, and I loved doing floor and dancing for the crowd. And years went on where I was progressing a lot in the sport, and it really wasn't until 2016 that I knew, like, okay, now is my year. I really think I can do this.
I know you are proud and gracious for the commitment that they made to you. Can you quantify that? Can you put that into words, like the sacrifices they made to get you what you needed?
Yes, they definitely made a lot of sacrifices, from, you know, carpooling to the gym and having to, you know, my mom would like take out her doctor's appointments to make sure that I had mine in, or if I told her that something was bothering, I think the best thing that she did was take me to the doctors when I didn't want to, because it's better to take time off and to rest what is hurting rather than to push through and just not have a meet season. And so she really helped me out with that, because as an athlete, I really just wanted to keep pushing forward. But in the long term, it benefited me to go and to rest and to take that out. And I mean, I have so many different stories. I think my favorite one, I think this story really summarizes the support of my family. Before Olympic trials, I was having a really rough time in practice, and I really just couldn't do any of my routines. I mean, I was exhausted. I was very stressed. And so we all went out to eat. And, you know, I kind of just sat there. I had a complete mental breakdown. I was bawling my eyes out. I'm a big crier. But yeah, I was like crying a lot. I was like, I can't do this. This is too hard. It's too far away. And they were like, but you only have 3 months left. Like, you can, come on, you've been training 11 years for this. You're almost there. And I was like, no, you don't understand. I can't do it. I'm tired. My routines aren't working. And this poor waitress kept bringing over like mounds and mounds of tissues. And I was like using tissues with like tissues up to here. And, you know, my parents, you could tell they felt they're very bad. And my sister was there. And so when we were leaving the restaurant, my sister looked at my dad and she was like, when she makes the Olympic team, I'm going to give these tissues back to her. And so Olympic trials comes, I make the team. After that, we go out for like a celebratory dinner, and my sister hands me a little bag, like a little, you know, a gift bag, and she's crying, and she said, open it, and, you know, there were just a ton of tissues in there. And, you know, it sounds kind of weird, and then you just see her, like, through tears saying, this was a defining moment for you, because when you didn't believe in you, we believed in you, and we supported you. And so seeing how supportive she was and her trust in me making this, it's like, it's all I could ever ask for.
Dream come true. I need
still
some
have them.
tissues right now, I think, you know? It's just one of those stories. Thank you so much for your time here. Folks, how about a round of applause? Great questions, too.
Thank you, guys.
Laurie Hernandez, wise beyond your 16 years and so grounded and so real. We appreciate everything that you bring to this expo.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much. You're all amazing.
Right now, Laurie is going to be heading right over to the autograph table right there in the 10 TV area, okay? And